Do you hear Flavia?
No.
Yeah?
No.
I mean,
Yes, I know. Yeah, exactly. What?
do you hear me?
I don't feel like you have
I have to look at my notes, otherwise I improvise too much and then it's like a problem, you know? So, are we ready? Are we ready?
Hello?
Yeah? Okay. Well then, welcome everybody. Sorry for the slight delay. It's so great to see you again and seeing some new faces, as always. So, for those of you who I haven't talked with yet, which I find like a miracle, but if I didn't talk to you yet, I'm Gabs. And this is Flavia. And Flavia also like needs to talk. Otherwise I'm like, rah, 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 you know, like.
Just wanted to say hi everybody also from my side. And it's so nice to see so many familiar faces but also new faces. And
Yeah.
maybe we start asking who is here for the first time.
Wow, nice. Well, welcome to the family. No, we're super happy to have you here, and thank you so much for like setting aside some time to be with us, because we know that like June is also a complicated month. You know, we have a lot to do, a lot of events. So thank you so much for your will to be here. We hope you enjoyed the drinks as well. I see some wind and I'm so worried that it's going to rain, but no, we checked the forecast like a million times, so it should be fine. And yeah, so anyway, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, like we are XRVienna. So Flavia is going to tell you a bit about it.
Just a little bit about the story of XRVienna, or what XRVienna is. So we are the first community of XR, everything from virtual reality to augmented reality and mixed reality. And Gabs is the founder of XRVienna. We started together with Axel in late 2015. And it's almost 10 years existing.
It's almost 10 years,
and we are really a big community at the moment. It was really to bring together users and creators and to create a platform where everybody has a place and really full of respect and equality. So actually our motto is no ego, no shame. Under our roof we are all equal. And we really hope to create this cozy atmosphere where everybody can just share their passion, what they want to learn, and also exchange with others. And maybe also to mention that we have a lot of, we are putting also a lot of effort in partnership, locally, internationally. So we are also partner of immersive, Women Immersive Tech, here locally with Tricky Women Festival since this year, AEE. So there are many things.
And from this year, we're also and we're also South Americans, you know, both of us, you know. I mean, like Flavia is half. We love this, you know. So we're very happy to, you know, share this piece of our culture as well with all of you, and actually create this this culture exchange as well, no? Because besides the technology that we use, we're also humans, we're also different, and we're also dealing on a daily basis with human experience, right? So we can't just ignore the fact that human experience means different things for everybody, right? So we may look deranged, but we're not, you know. This is part of our culture to just be like, hey, you know. But so we're very grateful that we get the thumbs up right now. Okay, so welcome everybody. No, the whole speech again, no? No, it's fine. I mean, you heard the whole thing. And like, hi everybody on the streaming as well. Hi partners, hi friends from everywhere. I don't know if I should talk there or there. It doesn't matter. You know I'm talking to you. So, and I have to go back to my notes.
And maybe before you start talking about the event of tonight, maybe we just say that also the event of tonight and our events of this year are also made possible thanks to Vienna Business Agency. So we're really grateful for this possibility also to expand like the events more often, as we were saying before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like as you can probably tell or not, I don't know. Like we do this because we love to. You know, like we believe in the industry, and we believe that the only way to make a meaningful industry with what we're doing is actually to get together and get to know each other and build connections. So to get the support of the Wirtschaftsagentur means a lot to us, because that means that they believe in us as well. So thank you for the support. So today's topic, XR product development. So I'm going to leave this here, because I don't need my notes to talk about this. So one way or another, we're a lot of us that are here, that we know each other already, like we are involved in designing a new product that didn't exist before in VR or XR in general. So we all have different stories, right? We all have different challenges. We are all in different stages of our product. So sometimes it's, okay, we're starting and we don't know like what it means to actually, you know, like put it to completion, for example. Or we don't know how the roadmap is going to look. The worst thing we can do is just look at LinkedIn, no, and read all the success stories of saying like, oh yeah, I have my problems, but you know, I succeeded and I'm so great at what I do, right? But we know that life is not like this, right? And we barely talk about these things. And especially now that the technology is changing and it's evolving, and we have AI now everywhere, right? I mean, touching so many aspects of our lives. Like, we can't ignore the fact that things are changing. And change sometimes can be a great opportunity, but sometimes change can be scary as well. So we're all here to learn from the experience of these three wonderful speakers that we have today, that we're very grateful that you said yes to our, you know, our sudden invitation to participate, because the three of you have a very unique story to tell about how you develop your experiences, like what are some of the challenges that you were facing throughout this process, and also how, like, we can start with one idea, but then it can become completely something else along the way, right? And there's no harm in trying something new, and there's no harm in also like kind of daring to say, hey, you know, I thought that this was going to work like this, but now it's actually shifting towards something else. And it's scary, yes, but as like I have a very my favorite quote of all time is from Dr. Susan David, that said, courage is not the absence of fear, courage is fear walking. So we're not here to say that we are not afraid sometimes to try something new, or we're not afraid to not know what the future holds for us, but we keep walking, right? And we're not alone in our journey. So that being said,
yeah, so tonight we have three amazing speakers, and we are also really excited that we can bring together a lot of different fields and of XR products. So actually from game development to metaverse and to XR fitness. And I think it's such a beautiful combination, and we really wanted to have not just this frontal presentation format, but really create this chat atmosphere, which is more not a fireside chat, but most a Gardenside Chat. Or at least we have the garden over there. And yes, so I will start presenting the first speaker of tonight.
And I will sit down in a minute.
Our first speaker is Melanie Bartl, also called Mel, and she's the co-founder of Flathead Studio. And so they started actually at university at the FH Salzburg back in 2021, and they were really successful. So they released the first game, We Are One, last year, and it's a VR game where you solve puzzles by cloning yourself and using time loops. And I think it's really funny. Like, you should really try. I hope maybe you brought a demo something for afterwards. I don't know. We didn't ask you, but like I think it's just like we had the possibility to try it, and it's really funny, and you should really get inside it and play it by yourself. And Mel, she's also working now as a 3D artist for Year of the Cicadas. Is it the Cicadas? It's a VR game by XR Pediatrics about grief and loss. So please, Melanie.
How do I? Yeah, can you open my presentation? And full screen. Yeah, nice. Nice. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Melanie Bartl, but please just call me Melle. Yeah, I'm a 3D artist and the art director of Flathead Studio, where also I'm one of the co-founders. And I want to talk about our company and our debut game called We Are One. So, as Flavia said, we founded in 2021. By the way, my English sucks, so just so you know. And I'm nervous. Well, We Are One is our debut game. It originated at the FH Salzburg as a master project game where me and 3 of my buddies made this VR game prototype during the university, and after that we decided to make a company, get public funding, get a publisher, by the way, and release it last year in June. Exactly, yeah, that's our publisher. Yeah, Fast Travel Games. It's already released on the Meta Quest store and on Steam VR. We also had a free demo on App Lab for over 2 years now, but we put it away so people play the real game and give us money. Yeah, it's. I should talk about the game. No, I will talk about it later. So we had the demo, and we also won some awards. I mean, the biggest one, which we are really, really proud of, are we got nominated at the DICE Awards, where 2 of our people flew to Las Vegas to the show with a really nice suit and everything. We didn't win anything, obviously, but the nomination is really, really great for us. So, and the game itself is quite complicated to explain. It's a single-player co-op game where you play with yourself, with the help of with the help of multiple time loops. You can make clones of yourself. That means, you make clones of yourself, and you can throw stuff at yourself. So it's a puzzle shooter game where you have to shoot evil robotic machines, like the red ones there, or you can't see them really well, the orange ones, because they are destroying nature. And Mother Nature, the creature over here, created you as an abstract being of nature to help her save nature. A lot of nature in this sentence. Yeah, and the premise is quite difficult to explain, but it's a shooter puzzle game and a lot of teamwork with yourself. As I said already, I was responsible for the art direction and mostly for the 3D parts and 2D parts. You can see a screenshot of really early development that was even during the studies at FH Salzburg. And here is a screenshot, how the game looked right now. It's very dark, but it's beautiful, may I say. Yeah, and we got really creative with the art style. Maybe I should mention that I did a lot of watercoloring, so really with paper, hand-painted watercoloring, get a nice library of different gradients and textures, scan them in, and use them to make all the assets. Plus, I used digital drawn lines and old school outlines to make this Borderlands kind of visual art style. Yeah. And
it released last year, and right now we are working on something else, also a VR game, but multiplayer. Sadly, I can't talk much about it, but it will be cool, I hope. Yeah, and that was it. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Matt. And I will present our second speaker of tonight, which is Arno Putz. He's the co-founder and CEO of Haptic. Let me start. Okay. Our second speaker is Arno Putz. I will say it again for the streaming. And this is the co-founder and CTO of Haptic. And he already worked with major companies around the globe. So Haptic is a platform that lets you create and manage metaverse projects in any device. And we are looking forward to hear more. Thanks, Arno.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Really nice to see all these people here. It's really amazing that all the people from XR coming to Vienna or are in Vienna and see it again. And yeah, it's very nice to see you all. So from my side, I'm the CTO and co-founder from Haptic. We are making a white label metaverse for the web. So we have built a native web engine. So it's built on different libraries. It's built on different APIs. It's a standard library is what we are using. We have web components. And we bring all together for our customers. So we have all the different platforms. So we have the server part. We have all the web part. We can create different apps. We can create different games inside the 3D space. We have 3D assets, optimization pipelines. So can simply upload 3D models to our pipeline, and we optimize it. We make the physics. So it's something like a little bit like Unity and Unreal, but for the web. And this is the different, because we really think it's Unreal. It's really nice for bigger games and for if you have something needs to install and play, but nothing is it should be really fast and you need it in an instant. And you don't need to rebuild an app. You don't need to rebuild any applications. Maybe it's too technical at the moment, but maybe can talk about in person later. So what I want to say is, yeah, this is what we're doing. We build this for different companies, so we white labeling everything. So we sell licenses to companies to use our service. It's very good for them that we have all the ISO certification, all the security parts, and all the libraries. We are in-house, so we don't use any third-party libraries for audio streaming, web RTC streaming. So we have all in-house, so we have all the control over, we have all the security stuff, and this is, for P2P, is very important, and it takes very long to get some of the licenses sold, but yeah, this is our journey, and we believe in this, all in the native stuff for the web, and building games and training stuff, and all of this is very exciting for me, because to see what the users or the companies do with our engine. So it's fantastic what they do, and it's sometimes I don't know what I don't have this idea, and then it's very nice to see what ideas they can do with our engine. So yeah, I'm very excited on this, and yeah, later we can speak together. Let's meet. That's it.
Thank you, Arnold. And last but not least, we have Michel Gschwandtner, who is co-founder and CTO of XRWorkout, a virtual reality fitness program designed for stay healthy. And so Michel started in XRWorkout in 2019, and I think it's beautiful that you also say that you started as a tool for your own mental health, and since then expanded to help as many people as possible. So thanks, Michel.
So hi, I'm Michael. I won't bore you with my last name because it's just a German name. Yeah. As Bartl mentioned, I started this game as a private project in 2019 for my personal fitness. In essence, it's a tool to gamify your personal fitness. It started under the name XRWorkout, which is which is very ingenious because it's like just putting VR and workout together. It started off as one of the very first hand tracking projects on the Quest platform at all. We released it on SideQuest in 2019, and released our first app lab version in February 2021. It actually launched 4 months before Supernatural launched. That didn't say anything because Supernatural is now a 400 million company. We're still like not that. And but we are catching up. In 2021, we launched an app lab. Like there was this floodgate opened. Everybody was able to get onto this Quest store. And we had our first meeting with Meta and realized they already were tracking us. So it's like I didn't do a project for financial gains. I just made it for myself, and then we had a call with Meta, with the fitness people there, and they said, yeah, we've been looking at that for a while. And I was like, I really got goosebumps because I didn't even know that they knew who we were. That led to our first grant that we got from Meta. So they gave us a development grant in Q1 2022, where they basically wanted us to bring it to the platform. The money is nice, obviously, but we were more happy to be able to get a path to the main store than, obviously the money was good, but to also get a fixed path to the main store. In Q1 2023, after a grueling QA pass, we went to the Meta store, launched quite successfully, I'd say. And Meta seemingly liked as well because they came back this year and gave us a second grant for mixed reality fitness, because we basically are so committed to fitness in VR that they said we need more from you. It's also in 2023 we renamed ourselves to XRWorkout, which is just as ingenious as VR-Workout, just replacing one character. But overall we did a huge rebrand, and now we are actually a brand and not just a name, basically. For the mixed reality grant was then also, we were launch partner for the Quest 3. So we were, I think we one were the same. You were also a launch partner? I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, so we launched our update in October 2023 with the Quest 3, which was a mixed reality. I mean, we already have mixed reality, but it was much more focused on mixed reality. We actually call it Jungle Gym, where you add stuff from your environment into your workout, so your walls or your chairs. So it's a we are already full body fitness, but now you're also full room fitness. Then in January 2024, we learned that Meta is going to add us into their retail pop-ups. So if you know, when you're going to a Best Buy or Walmart, they have those Meta pop-ups, and they have like tablets there, and they did a refresh and put us in that cycle. Then later this year, we learned that we are now being used by physio clinics. We learned it because they had a support request, and they said basically, hey, it doesn't work. And we're like, who are you? And yeah, then we learned they are already using it. It's like a big chain of physio clinics, and they started using us. And we immediately solved a few pain points for them, which led to them now expanding to 20 clinics. And so we are going strong into the B2B route. We're also now doing stuff with Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital in Florida. And we just, later this month, our first clinical trial will start, which will judge the effectiveness of XRWorkout specifically. We also are basically one of the first games on the Quest directly that supports foot tracking. We implemented a reverse engineers protocol of the Vive Ultimate trackers, which led to the head of HTC XR Elite sending me a message during the night, hey, how did you do that? Which was pretty nice. And yeah, so we are a freemium product, so we want to give everybody the chance to use the product even if they don't want to pay for it. So there is like an 8-minute daily workout that resets every 24 hours, which is kind of the same thing as you have on like 7 minutes, 9-minute Tabata stuff. So you can go on for that for as long as you want, but we obviously need to make money. So we have a subscription product, which is $9.99 per month and $70 a year. Obviously, nobody likes subscriptions, so we also made a lifetime product, which is $95 lifetime. And we're currently about 50-50, making half the money from the subscription, half from the lifetime. So there are a lot of people who are actually willing to pay $95 for a VR product, which we think is a pretty good sign that the product works. And we are projecting our break-even later this year, but that's just to keep the lights on. Obviously, we are also always working on getting investor money to really expand, because there are a few big names in VR fitness, and we are trying to basically catch up to them. Yeah, so that's our company history.
We always try to do everything together, you know, so that's why I'm like,
I'm back.
yeah, I'm back. You know? So yeah, thank you so much the three of you, is so exciting to see, like, to hear about, you know, like how everything started and how, you know, especially the passion that you have for the projects as well, you know, because of course, like we hear a lot, like, yeah, I just did it because it was going to make money, and now I'm rich, and now I sell it, and now I buy something else, you know. But I mean, a lot of us are in it because we love what we do, right? And if we can be successful doing what we love, you know, it's like double the happiness, right? So
and I also think, like, also seeing the time that it takes to develop things, because I think something we see today is like this urge to have something in a couple of months, and then if it's not working, it's like, okay, next to the next technology, and just trying to have something. But we see, like, from 2019, 2020, like so much passion and years also in the development, and risk and challenges. But I think it's something beautiful that also to show this.
I mean, one thing is what the market is telling us, that to jump from trend to trend. I mean, I'm very, like we're pretty much activists as well in XRVienna when it comes to, like, substance, right? I mean, like, a good product is not developed like jumping from trend to trend, right? Because it takes, like, nurturing the product. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of experimentation. It takes a lot of, you know, like, acknowledging, okay, maybe it's not the right time to do these kind of things, but it will be the right time in the future. So what we love, like, about these products is, and this is why we wanted to share with you, is that you see the process behind it, that is not just I use the keywords to make profit and that's it. Like, good things take time, right? So, that being said, we are going to start the Gardenside Chat. Yes. And I would like to invite you both as well. Like, we believe that the couch is big enough for the three of you, but if not, you know, like, we're going to bring more chairs.
We also have this one microphone for the three of you.
And if someone wants a pillow, we put a comfort pillow, you know. I like to hug the pillow, you know, so I don't know, you know.
And if anybody has questions, then I will try to press another. Like,
yes.
We don't have one more mic. This is yours.
Yeah, we would have to, like, share this mic, no? Because we had other mics prepared, but we couldn't, right? We share this? So, no, they're not bad, come on. I mean, they're just, they don't want to work today, which is fine. Bad, poor things, you know? I mean, giving you their very best, you know, and you're like, okay. So one thing, I hope it's okay, I just 30 seconds saying something here. Like, I will sit down as well. I would like to sit here with all of you. Is you probably saw these things. Who doesn't have this yet? You don't have it? Catch. There. And also catch the handwritten note, because we were not. It will be here waiting for you. So we thought it would be a funny thing, you know, like, a lot of us are stressed out, you know, like, working on our own projects, you know, so it's like, squeeze it and keep on creating, you know. That's the message behind these stress balls. So you have to take the stress balls as well. So anyway, we start with the Gardenside Chat, and if you don't want me to talk until the day after tomorrow, I had to write some notes and questions. Yes.
Could we change the background?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so excited sometimes to talk, but then in the end, there. Full screen? Full screen? Obey my command! There. Right, better? Yeah, better? Okay. So, thank you again for being here. It's what I will speak from the heart, okay? Because what I prepare and then what I speak from the heart is completely different, you know, usually. Like, it's really interesting to hear, like, the point that you are in your projects, right? Because you started, I mean, the team started as a student project, and now it's evolving into something different. Then Arnold, we knew each other, like, we know each other from, like, ages, right? And seeing how, like, VR Land now is Captic, and now that, you know, you join forces to create something bigger than it was you know, it already was. And seeing you successful doing what you love, right? And then of course, Michael, that you're the most motivated person. Like, I never knew anyone that is developing a product that knows inside out, up, down, and sideways what he's doing, you know? And I really admire that, you know, from what you are working on. And actually, don't trust my word for it. I mean, you got Meta's attention. That, you know, like we tried Meta's attention, and it was like, go away, you know? I mean, congratulations on that. So we're going to, like, I'm going to make a couple of questions that is general for the three of you. And please feel free to also, you know, like if you enter a discussion, please just go ahead. These are optional questions. But let's talk about expectations versus reality, right? We start with an idea, we start thinking that we're going to change the world, right, with what we do. And then we encounter the entrepreneurial world and we're like, oh, what have I done? No? For just like a second there. So how did these expectations, like creating an XR product, differ or not from the reality of developing your project? Like good or bad, you know? Like we want to know it all.
Should I? Okay. So I'd say I mean, it's probably true for almost all industries, but in XR, due to the pandemic, the expectations never really matched what the reality was. Because first it was like a small project, VR wasn't really something you thought like, okay, that's not going to be a big thing. Then the pandemic hit and it was like, XR, VR was exploding and everyone was thinking like there's so much money in there, and it was like, okay, we are falling behind. And then you're finally catching up, and then the industry drops off because pandemic is over. People, now we are financially in a like the recession or something. So now it's like the expectations higher than the reality, and it's like a really roller coaster of doing that. I think you kind of have to have a mental filter on and basically ignore a big chunk of time, so you're kind of following along a bit. Yeah.
I will talk a bit about our student expectations. So it started as a master project, and we used SideQuest 2 as a platform to give our Lehrer, Dozenten, professors a build so they can test it. And it was not public. So we just gave them the link, and at one point the link didn't work anymore, and one of my teammates, Arnold, had the great idea, yeah, let's just public our thing, our prototype, and suddenly random people started playing this game and leaving quite positive reviews, and we were like, did you see the game? It's just gray cubes and really ugly and just 4 levels or something. But they keep on coming, and that was in 2020, in the summer. And then we said, okay, maybe this can get really big. If the people all said, it's nice, it's a great game, we should finish it. And then we just said, fuck it, let's apply for funding. And then we got it, and then we had to make a company. And then the stone keeps rolling and rolling. So the first expectation was finishing this project after university, and that was it. Everyone goes his own way, but no, we made a company, and it still keep rolling. Really cool reality right now.
Yeah. For me, it's a little bit the same like for you, because this was very exciting for me to have this. It was coming from an idea to a company. So this part is still amazing to be one of in this company, and this was, I had not dreamed about that this is possible, but still there's now different problems to working with bigger companies. Everything takes very, very long, and you think, okay, we will make this deal in 1 week, and then 2 months later, nothing happened. But it's, I need to play this game a little bit to have all the security stuff, to do everything, and then it looks good. But this is sometimes completely different what I expected, and then, it still happened.
I love it. It's still different, but it still happened, right? That should be like, we should print that out in all of our offices, you know, like put it there in the entrance, no, like next to the logo, you know, like. Yeah, I mean, like I'm very, I feel very related to what you're saying as well, that there's such a high degree of uncertainty in what we do, especially with all the live events, right? Because we can have like the perfect plan that we want, right? But then in the end, the external factors are something that we cannot control, right? I mean, this is something that we can just say, okay, I do my best, but we can't control politics, right? I mean, we can't control the economy. We can't control the manufacturer saying like, okay, we shift our interest now into something else, right? So there's always a factor of risk in what we do, right? I mean, there's no risk-free innovation, I dare to say. So for me, it's very, very interesting to hear from you. Like, how does this work, this balance, no? Like, especially when you're developing something that, you know, the world has never seen before. It's your perspective, right? So how do you balance this innovation and risk, right? Especially considering that we have teams, right? I mean, we need to pay the bills, right? I mean, like, we love what we do, yes, but at the same time, we can't just live out of passion, right? So how do you deal with this balance, or what are some of the challenges that you encounter bringing this balance?
Start. We didn't have, luckily, so much risk so far. Everything goes quite well. I think the biggest luck we had was 2021 in the Steam Fest next festival. We streamed our game, and we were not searching active for a publisher, and we just tried Steam Next Fest for getting new people trying out the demo and stuff, and suddenly we got 5 emails from different publishers asking us, hey, this looks really interesting, do you want to make a call? Yeah, and it's something we didn't look for, but I know a lot of little indie studios or student project or people who recently funded a game studio are looking for publishers, so we were really, really lucky to get this opportunity and to get a publishing deal.
Great. So you're thinking, it's like, but I like, can I have it? Like, for me, it's like I have a very, like, maybe you don't know this story, no, but I have to say it, that last year, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, you presented yourself, I mean, like the Flathead Studio was nominated for an XR Reality Award, no, like XRC Award, no, and we were also nominated, no, like we were also nominated, and I'm like, okay, I wonder who else is nominated, right? And then when I saw your project, I'm like, I hope I lose, you know what I mean? I thought, like, no, but see, I'm not trying like to put flowers or anything like that, you know, but it's really hard nowadays to say, okay, there are a million shooters out there, you know, but how to make a shooter interesting, how to make, like, you know, like something that is like appealing to audiences in a way that they can actually learn something as well, while still being a shooter, right? I mean, here we have a fan of shooters as well, the one that is here with the streaming, one of them, you know? So I'm always criticizing him, for example. It's like, what do you find so exciting about just doing the same thing over and over again? So I find it very, like, I like it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I find it's the first shooter that I'm actually saying, like, okay, you know, let's play it, you know? Yeah.
So thanks. First, that you like it, it's really great to hear. But at the same time, our game, we just saw the resonance of players. It doesn't appeal to everyone, just like a 0815 a zombie shooter game, for example. So in the end, we didn't have so much numbers or people who wanted to play the game. I mean, it's fine. We're doing okay-ish with 4 people. Yeah, but still, external funding is needed to make a new game and to keep the company going.
I mean, it takes time, right? I mean, it takes time, and sometimes, because this is also something that that I hope is okay that I say it, no? That we hear a lot about, like, we're developing our products, everything is going to be fine, you know? Like, it's a linear process of, like, I start here, I put my heart into it, and it works, right? And Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and we kind of have to learn like when to say, this is it, you know what I mean? Or this is my audience, right? I mean, one thing that that we hear a lot, I dare to say, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that we need to create products that appeal to everybody, right? I mean, that is like everybody likes it, everybody's like, you know, they're super excited, I'm the only one doing these things, right? So it's this, I mean, we as humans are not like all the same, right? So why would our experiences have to reflect a world that we all search for the same things, right? So this is something that I wanted to say as well to all of you, you know, like it's one thing, in talking about the, please, I was, yeah, no, but I was going to say, one thing that I see in the three of you, you know, is also, and please add to it if I'm wrong or right, or you want to say something else, is that you're reacting to the pulse of times, but still considering that this is your product, your vision, right? I mean, you still want to help people, you still want to bring your ideas out there, but also there's something in you there, right? So you wanted to say something, sorry.
I think this notion of trying to make something that everybody likes is exactly the wrong thing you can do. So that's exactly, obviously you cannot get away from risk. There's always risk involved and you have to deal with the risk. But you have to find a certain niche. The better you can define the customer base, the smaller the customer base you can define, the better. Because then you're not competing with the big ones, then you're making your own market, and from that you can expand. The same thing that Airbnb and all those companies did. They had a very, very small market and expanded from there, because a big company isn't looking for a niche. So that's where you that's where you need to innovate. So you need to figure out, you're a small company, you have the flexibility to innovate. So you can do something they can't. For example, if we take FitXR, I don't know what their process is, but I am assuming that their product life cycle is like between 6 and 12 months for bringing a new product. That's not something that's something where you as a small company, a small XR company, can completely outpace them. So you can make something happen, and the smaller the target you can define, the more likely is that you're going to be successful.
Yes, so on our side, it's more like a little bit, we have the customers and selling our license, and we get a lot of information from our customers. And if they say, okay, we need this and this, and they paying for it, then we know, okay, they need this. And this is some good signing that we say, okay, we give this in our license, and the next one needs to pay for this. And so it's growing and growing. And then at the other side, we have some, we're working with the FH Salzburg, FH St. Pölten, and TU Wien. And they, of course, they have more freedom to experiment with our platform and experiment with our scripting. And this is, I think, it's a very good combination. So because we have this information from the customers and from P2P, and from the universities, they're playing and do some crazy stuff with it, and then looking if does this work, make some labs to test it out, and it's a long process, but we're very happy with this.
But this is something that I wanted to say before already when you were mentioning the white label metaverse, right? I mean, one thing is to react to what your customers are demanding from you, right? And another thing is to say, I put as many keywords as possible in my product so people can kind of like, you know, get it one way or another, right? And I think this is a difference. And now I will improvise a bit the questions because I think, I mean, just one, and then I will, you know, continue with the others. Because of course we need to talk about AI, right? I mean, like we need to kind of address the elephant in the room here, right? Like, because it's affecting us all, right? I mean, it's influencing the projects that we do, even if we are not developing directly with AI, you know. But I don't know if you have the same experience, you know. Like if we have a meeting with someone, you know, it's like, okay, what is the AI that you're like implementing in your products? Because this is what you have to have right now, right? So what is your experience in this, you know? Like how do you see like your products, whether being influenced or not, with the rise of AI in XR? If it's okay to ask.
Yeah, I will ask first if okay. I think in the game development it's not that big of a thing as in other areas of XR. I know that my programmer boys are using Copilot and other AI stuff to make their programming a bit easier, to find bugs, or they have an idea, try it quickly out with AI and then work with it further on their own. In art, I don't want to use AI anywhere because there are so many open questions, critical questions about copyright and moral, ethics. And we are so small right now, we don't need to streamline the art right now. So no, we don't have big plans with AI yet. Yeah.
Finally, something we disagree on. I think AI in game development specifically is one of the industries that's utilizing it the most effectively. Especially art. I mean, I know you as an artist don't like that, and I fully understand the reason why. From a programming perspective, from a development perspective, it speeds up the process so much, and it shrinks the teams, which is obviously bad because a lot of people are getting out of their job because the job is taken literally by AI. We ourselves are creating our own in-house pipelines, so I mean, obviously everybody's using AI today in some form or the other, but it's not like, I mean, I also use Copilot, and it's like, but it's not. We're currently not at a state where they just take a prompt and make a project out of it. But all those engineers, especially music. So if like you can see like with Udio and Suno, they've gotten so good that for most projects that are music based, they're also, again, there is like a huge ethical thing, and it's not yet ruled what the copyright issues there will be or not, but it's completely replacing producers that produce music for that type.
I have a personal question for you. I hope it's okay, like talking about, like, okay, you can produce music with it, you can produce content with it, and it's good, right? I mean, that's what you're saying, you know, and but what defines good? You know, like, meaning I'm genuinely curious, you know, because, for example, for a project, like the budget was very little for this project, and we had to use for the narration, we had to use AI for that purpose, no? Like we used a generated voice, and because otherwise the project wouldn't have happened, no? So from the project perspective, it was really good, because in the end we got the project, right? I mean, to develop this experience further. But from another side, like we have a musician friend, no? That usually he's helping us with the sound score of, you know, like of our experiences. And he immediately saw it, you know? He was like, okay, this is AI generated, right? And it's like, and I was curious, and I said, how can you tell, you know? And he's like, it has no soul, you know? I mean, like, and I'm curious how you see this, you know, because of course there's a utilitarian purpose, which, you know, the same as, okay, we don't have 50K to develop a segment of our experience, and we want it to happen, and this is like, you know, a means to an end. But there's also this factor of, is it really good or not, you know, or is it a means to an end, you know, or if this is sustainable or not, you know, from let's say from an ethical perspective and also from a commercial perspective, or are we falling into a standardization of creativity for the sake of availability? You know, I mean, there's no easy answer to this. I'm just curious. It goes more into a philosophy, you know, of this topic. But I'm genuinely curious to see, like, how you, like, either see this topic, or how do you see it evolving from, like, these two aspects, from a utilitarian perspective, and also from, like, this is my experience as an artist, and this is conveyed in my experience. No?
I'd say that two things. There is a difference between good or good enough and actually good. So I think good enough is when it doesn't diminish the experience. So if you use AI, maybe it's visible, but if it doesn't make the experience you have worse, then it's good enough. That's obviously not going to work for everybody. And then when it's really good is when people can no longer tell that it's AI. And we are, in some ways, getting that. Currently, I think like that the problem we currently have is like AI obviously makes content so ubiquitous that you don't know. I mean, it's like content. If you go to any music site, you get so much music. There's so much average stuff that I can't listen to that anymore, because every time you listen to it, it's like the same. It's different songs, but it's always the same average thing. So that's not really good. But what's happening, I think, is you have basically this multi-stage process to create art. Let's say create visuals, like a diffusion process, and we are basically becoming the last step in this. We're basically becoming the decision factor that filters out what's good and what's not good. And that's where we currently are. And that's like if you create something that passes through that, then you created something that's good. And if you create something that was blocked off by that because people didn't like it, then that's the way it doesn't help you if you use AI. But it's like it just makes the early stages so much simpler that you can create a lot more content. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably trying to like 100 different prompts to get something instead of just taking what the half good thing and just making it good yourself.
Mm-hmm. A lot to comment on. Yeah, it's so just for me. I draw since I'm little. My whole Twitter feed is just art, and I do a lot of illustration and drawing stuff in my free time, watching anime and cartoon just because they look really pretty. And I mean, I can see in the big production pipeline that the concept artist would use AI to speed up their iteration, to get more inspiration, to try out new things, but I don't see it in the final product because it's really hard to get a beautiful thing out of it where art people see that's not AI, because I see it in my eyes. What?
Because that's funny, because I have an example for that, which is funny because I didn't know that the artist who originally made the picture actually drew it. I only realized it afterwards. I thought it was a photo. But I basically took his photo, which was a photo, and made an AI version of it. And he then said, "Wow, that's a great art." And it's like, yeah, but I didn't actually make art. I just basically ran it through the.
The XRWorkout?
XR left, my private one.
Okay. You ran one of many accounts.
Well, I'm commenting on my own stuff, so that's how.
It's like the "we are one" concept, no? It's like he's commenting on his own things, no? And then he's like, I mean, there's no right and wrong answer about this, you know, and this is why I find it very fascinating, because it depends so much on the product that we're developing as well, right? I mean, for us, as I said, like for us, it was helping us get the resources that we needed in order to access this project, right? But where do you draw the line, no? Like, where do you say, okay, should we allow this more or not?
So
you know,
this was the original. So that's Kate Speak, which is a British actor, and this was a guy who it's a digital painting, and I didn't realize it. I thought just he took a picture and just basically retouched it in. So that was his art, and I thought like when I thought there's a picture, I thought like, okay, it's not a good picture. I mean, it's a good drawing, but I thought it was an average picture. And I went and said, maybe we can make something like a video game character out of her, because he was trying to be like Lara Croft. I think she's trying to get the Lara Croft part. So so where is the answer? 1 second.
I know my laptop is a mess, you know. Like,
and then I basically
took
took it and made this out of it. So like that took me 30 minutes. And he then thought, I made that as well. So basically he as an artist did not realize that this was AI, even though I didn't even try to not make it AI, because I thought this other one was just a picture. So there is, if you know what you're doing, there is definitely a way. But the thing is, you can't just expect the AI to do what you want. You have to have like your tools and everything to make that stuff happen.
It's super interesting, this the debate, no? Does anybody have a question, by the way?
Actually, I would like to add something. Maybe I want to add something to this topic of the art side as well, because I come also from a background in art and mostly media art, and I think I always question what does it mean really art, like it's just like a replica, like a copy of something that we know, or like also the process behind, because like of creating something new which is not existing before. And for that I think no AI will create that, because it's still just taking something which is already existing. So I have no doubt that in copying some other styles there will be always more this possibility. And we say maybe for a game or something, okay, I really want to have this look. But if you try to experiment something new, also like in your case of your game, I think there is no way, like it will always be visible what you're, like if it's just like using a shortcut. So I always question, what does it mean also the art process? Is it just like the aesthetics, or it goes much behind, like much more in depth, or yeah. It's just my ad in your favor, actually, because I think this is interesting, but it's another topic, what is really, really the art behind and the whole concept. But it's just also my view.
We should make an event specifically
Yeah.
for that. Right? I mean, like we have an event talk here for like 3 days, about
Yeah.
this. But
Maybe I can say something
Yeah,
to this.
please.
For us, it's very important, and we use it, of course. Not of course, but it's very good for our customers to build some, because we're training our own engine with our own code, so we know what they should do, and it's very helpful to get some information, get all the information. How can you do it? How can you change something? So for this it's very helpful. But we use our own data to train it. And I think this is something very important, that this will come soon, that you have your own libraries or your own models on your phone, and you can train it with your own data. So I think this would be very important, and not to send all the data to a server and bring it back, and everyone can read this. But this will be all on your own phone or on your desktop. This is where we're looking for, that we can bring this to our pipeline, so that users have this local in the browser, and not to download it or send it to a server and give it back. So this is our, we're looking more technical in this stuff and not to the artists, but I think it's still very important to have these parts, and this needs to be solved, and there are not many people who see this, that this is, it's very important, that not sending this around the world, and have this on your own phone or web browser.
And since the three of you have been through a lot, with your development process, right? I mean, you have seen it all, right? I mean, a lot of us, and I include myself on this, no? Like we are starting to develop our own products now. Like Axel and I used to work as a service provider in XR, and now we are. I will leave you with a cliffhanger, no? But we're actually working on a product idea ourselves. So I would love to get some advice, both from for me and for all of us here. Like if we're starting developing our own products, what are some advice? What is some advice that you can give us, to say, okay, don't go this way because I know this way is already doomed, or don't be afraid of X, Y, Z, what would be your legacy advice for all of us who are starting this path right now?
Yeah, I will just answer that with the art department, because we have programmers here. So in the art, we made a big learning with VR1 that the game looks quite nice in virtual reality, but it didn't convey it looks that well on 2D, meaning all the screenshots and YouTube videos didn't look that good in comparison to virtual reality. And furthermore, that's one of the reasons why many people might not catch it. So, that's something I want to buy, because it didn't appeal to them. For our next project, we are actively trying out how does the game or the prototype look on the video, or if we make a screenshot, how does it look like on phone or on big screen? Markability, topic appealing. It's very not much passion right now in this part, but more focus on what will the future target group think if they see this screenshot. Also important if you want to make money at one point.
I would say the first advice would be don't listen to people who give you advice on a podcast or a random show, because we all have survivorship bias. I mean, we will advocate for what worked for us, but just because we survived doesn't mean that that was the right path. So, but more importantly, I think everybody who wants to do something in VR XR has to accept the fact that it adds friction. So the headset adds friction, making sure everything is charged, the weight, everything. So it makes everything you do a little bit worse. So if you're trying to do something that is equally as good as in real life, and not without the headset, or even worse, then you're doing something wrong. So you have to have something that makes it more usable in VR to offset this negative to this friction. So I'd say that's so if you have something that's, if you're using something that's the same on VR as it is on non-VR, don't bother, because it's just, the market isn't there yet. When we come to a point where everybody's wearing a headset, where like the iPad is replaced by it, people are running around with it, then it doesn't matter anymore. But at the moment you have to account for this added friction.
It's okay if you don't want to say anything, you know, it's all good.
No idea at the moment.
No, it's fine.
Maybe one more advance. I mean, I think it's a standard thing to say is drop your babies. Like during prototype, if it doesn't work out, or if you just feel it's not right, just drop it all and start something new, even if it's hurt yourself because it's your baby, but drop it.
And since this is a Gardenside Chat and data panel, I dare to include myself as well, like on this. No, I would say also finding the right team to work with is also very important, right? Because in the end, shit is going to hit the fan. Like no matter what we do, it's never going to be sunshine and rainbows, right? And we all have our personalities, we all have our ambition, and we all have it on the diversity of thought is very big, right? So, and this is not a linear process either, right? I mean, like sometimes we hit the jackpot and we say, okay, we find the perfect team to work with, but sometimes as painful as it is also recognizing not only to kill your darlings, as you said, but also to say, okay, maybe the project would benefit from another team, as painful as it is. Right? And this is not only a step of courage, but is also a step of endurance, right? Because we can't avoid like having the emotional factor involved as well. And this is again going to the risk-free innovation and kind of how to balance entrepreneurship with product development, right? I mean, the more we do it for the passion, the more the harder it is sometimes to make like entrepreneurial decisions, right? So the more we try to balance these forces, as hard as it is, like the more chances we have to see our products getting further, right? How are we doing with time, by the way? No one knows. 20 to 8. Okay. No, I think it's time to... Exactly. Time to, like, does anybody have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
It's a very simple question to Michael. What is your fitness game about? How does it work?
So I usually explain it like if you think about Twister, you know the game Twister, where you say like put your hand there, put your feet there. It's the same thing for us. So we are basically sending you, same as in Beat Saber, we are sending you cues for your hand, your head, and your feet, and trying to get you to make special movements by what patterns you get. Obviously, same thing with music. The difference to Beat Saber here is that we aren't really interested in the rhythm itself, but more the music is like a backing track, and we are more interested in the movement. So it's like all about getting your body moving, and we are more the classical body weight exercises. We're doing stuff like push-ups, crunches, jumping, running, everything in VR. That works because we are using hand tracking. If you do it with controllers, that's not really a thing. And for myself, the shortest explanation would be a tool to gamify your own fitness. So making your workout suck less as it would if you would just do it without VR.
I mean, if you're in you're mega fit, you know, so I can tell that it works. You
Well,
know?
I lost like 13 kilos in the last 6 weeks just
Wow.
with XRWorkout and diet, or the other way around, diet and XRWorkout.
I mean, it's like samurai workout, you know, like I'm like, no, but really amazing. So like, I say this to the three of you, like, if,
did this answer your question?
anyone,
There was-
like, who has a question? Lois, yeah? Okay.
So thanks for presenting your inspiration stories. And I'm wondering, developing a product involves a lot of things. It's technology, it's business side, finding the right team. I'm wondering, looking back, what scared you the most? Was it facing business uncertainty? Is it technology challenges? Yeah, what was it?
For me was because everyone is remote today, and we're starting with building a team out from different people in the world. This was the most important part for me. I need to learn how we can work together, how we can bring the team together, make everything happy, and how we can make all our milestones. And to building the team was for me the biggest challenge.
I would say the biggest challenge for me was the dedication to make your own company, because I'm not a person of. I thought after university I will have a nice job somewhere and get my monthly pay and that's it. But I'm really lucky to have a great team, because most of the business stuff or money numbers stuff is handling my programmer teammates, because they can do math. And so it's a lot of team effort. We are sharing the parts. Sometimes I'm responsible for something and they are supporting me, and vice versa. Yeah.
I would say spending money of others. So raising money and then actually spending that was really the most frightening part, because it's like you're spending not your own money, and you're kind of, if you fail, then that's the most scary thing. But yeah.
So, you have a question, no? Okay.
Hi, and thank you for your presentations. My name is Matthias. I'm from NF Brand X. We are a metaverse and Web3 company. And I have a question for Arnold. Is there a reason why you decided to build your product for web only, or is it going to be usable on VR headsets as well?
It's usable on VR headset as well, because every headset has a browser inside, so you can use it at the moment in every headset. The other side, you can export our product in an application, and you can store it in the MetaQuest store. So there is no this or that, so you can use it everywhere.
So clients can export their own app version in the Meta store from your white label solution?
Yes.
Excellent.
So if you're building a game with us, we can export it to an app and can upload it to the Meta store.
Yeah, I'm curious, because we're talking about prototyping, if you have any secrets to share in terms of your prototyping process, especially user testing, looking at the prototyping process through the lens of design thinking, UX, in terms of basically, do you have any secret sauce, any secrets to share in terms of how you were interviewing users, like with your first MVP, what kinds of routines you had to find the first issues, that kind of thing,
We did a lot of play testing during VR1 in the early development. And as far as I can remember, we tried not to tell much about the game for the play testers, so we can just see did they get everything from the tutorial or from the menu or from the game by themselves or not. And after that, I think we ask them always the same 6 questions. I can't remember exactly what the questions are because Philip always set them up. It's where did you feel the most clever? What was the most frustrating part? If you get a magic wand, what would you change? And if you get, and 2 other questions, but it's always the same and it's quite interesting, yeah.
So in our case, I'm a hardcore programmer, so my stuff I'm making looks like it's for hardcore programmers, which means it's usually not very usable, which was one of the big criticizing points we had, also from Meta very early on. One thing is like we had the QA pass you have to go through for the store release is already a pretty good thing to get you in shape, but for us, it's like we try to engage as much as possible with the community. So we're getting basically all our feedback from our community directly. So they're telling us this doesn't work or this isn't good. And as soon as that comes up more often, it's something we need to address. And obviously we already have a product out, so the initial stuff doesn't really apply for us. But what we now do very religiously is A/B testing our stuff. So we are the good thing is we are a freemium product, so we have a lot of new users coming in all the time, and that's how we can easily figure out if that visual or design change we just made has a positive or negative impact on our user journey.
And also bad reviews are your friend.
Well, I would disagree on that a bit.
Well, exactly. Like, elaborate on that, please. Like, I'm curious. I'm curious to hear about that.
I mean, I'm not sure what your review score is, but you're much higher than us, so you're better qualified to answer that.
Review? What?
Review score. No, Gabriela said reviews.
So I said like reviews, like bad reviews are your friends, you know, because sometimes they have you spot things, you know, that you would have never found, you know, like that you thought, okay, you know, like I thought this was solved in my stress test, you know, like it all worked fine, you know, and then I have this one person that discovered this one thing that I didn't know about, and it's crucifying me.
No, we have something similar, but in the positive aspect. We had players play the game and solving the levels. We never have thought about it, doing it that way. So it's really interesting that each level, just by accident, can be solved in dozens of different ways. One thing about design thinking during the prototyping, I just remembered, was we had over 200 different game ideas at the very start of the project, because we thought, okay, we need a really good idea, and until we get it, we won't stop prototyping or brainstorming ideas. And we had and there are online very many different concepts how you prototype or brainstorm in a team, like giving the main idea to another person, add one adjective or another term, and then make something different out of it. A lot of creative ways, yeah.
One thing you're right, one aspect, bad reviews are your friend, because you get that feedback. But I would say it would be better if there was a better channel from the platforms back to the users, because back to the developers, because we get a lot of people sending us support requests through the review system. And if someone sending you a support request, they're not giving you a 5-star. So they're sending you a 1-star because something didn't work. You fix that for them because maybe a user error, maybe on our side, anything. You fix that for them, but they don't never go back and change it. So I think Meta has this system now where you can send a video or anything, but they don't really advertise it. So they need to make it clear how people can contact the developer so that they get their stuff fixed without doing it through a review system, which isn't meant for that.
Yeah.
Our first 2-star review stated, hey, you didn't get a 2-star review yet, so now you have one. Thanks.
You're welcome. No? Yeah, that's lovely. It's like so, yeah. Last question, yeah? You're the grand finale.
All right. Thank you guys for telling all of this. I'm Gergely. I'm a producer, project manager. My question will be around there. So usually when you start up from the ground, you are starting quite clunky. You start ad hoc, you start fast and you fail fast, and that's okay. But as you grow, you kind of had to interpret structure into the pipeline. My question around there, when was the point, if there was a point, when you started to think, okay, that's good, but we need some kind of pipeline, kind of structure, kind of whatever, if you could help me. That's my question.
As our project began as a student project, we had no clue about structure at all, obviously. But I think I was the artist in a group of 3 programmers, so I got the art job and the art direction pretty early on. And we started doing stand-up meetings every day and a sprint meeting every 2 weeks. And each person in the programming team got their main responsibility. We make a big chart who was responsible, not primarily they doing this part, but they had the last word, or they had the responsible to look after it. Is it going along until the deadline and so on? And because we are so young and no experience at all, it's very organic. It changed a lot, and right now we are something stable, but still very a small team, so a big structure isn't as needed as a bigger team, I think.
Yeah, for us the start was if we get the first investment and then get the first deep tech investment from the RVS, and then we started the company, and then we begin at this time to make our pipelines, make our stuff, because this helps us a lot. We have all these Jira tickets and all the milestones, everything. But because we started from the beginning with this, we have this ISO certification. So we then started, after I think 1 or 2, after 1 year, we started with the ISO certification. And this is a very long process to get it in, to make everything, but it helps us a lot. And still, it costs a lot of time. And but for all the ISO security stuff, this gives us really good structure and good management.
For us, I think we relatively early on tried all kinds of different company structures. We tried to do like EOS, this business operating system stuff, which was way too early for what the stage we were in. So you're basically doing stuff around the little thing you did, and you did like a lot of overhead. Then we basically went completely chaos. So we just did anything, and we just tried to get it. I was embedded in the development studio we're working with, so they had structure, so that they had also like the art pipelines, everything was like really nicely structured. And I'd say roughly like a year ago, we really made it like we have people for specific roles. For like we have a head of product that's for the product itself, then we have someone for the medical side, then we have someone for the organizational side. So we are now, as I said, since a year or so, we have like really heads of certain everybody has his own responsibility, is responsible for their field, yeah.
Well, I think we can agree that we learned a lot today from these experiences, and unfortunately our time of the Gardenside Chat has come to an end, but I hope we can spend some time outside, having a drink, eating. Well, the empanadas are gone, but we can eat some quiche and some other things. And we would like to thank you very much for giving us a bit of your busy time, for sharing your experience with us, and we hope that you also enjoyed this conversation. And that you also like. This is something that I have to structure my thoughts, because I was like, as I said, I will speak until tomorrow. But one thing that communities are for are exactly because of these moments. As you mentioned, Michael, no? I mean, like the community feedback, right? I mean, before we jump into directly our users, right? I mean, use the community for this purpose, you know? Like, we are not here to judge. We are not here to say, this is great, this is not great. We are here to give you a direction that we think that is going to help us. And you have a point of comparison, to compare notes, right? To say, okay, I believe in this, but I hear that I have to provide this. Maybe my solution is somewhere down the middle. And we will never know that until we share our ideas. So use this space as your safe space to test these ideas, to get the feedback that you need. And I know it's a very bad joke, but we are here for you. And that being said, like, first of all, I would like to thank you again, like, very much, the three of you, and I would like to thank all of you for joining us today. And meeting in real life is very hard nowadays, so we really appreciate that you're here. And we would also like to thank the Wirtschaftsagentur again. Hey, thank you very much for your support. And also for Frisch and Imiria that are allowing us to spend time in actually organizing this event. And we hope you stick around. There's still drinks, and let's keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's have some fun. All right.
just pray that you hear me sometimes. Can I just say that you're always on my mind? It's been 11 days since you said you'd leave it behind. In many ways, I think of all the better days now. Is there something wrong? You seem to push the fire and the red light. What is going on? If you wanna know, then we'll figure out what's going on.